our students' lives and their successes and their training and their learning. Pray that you bless them, give them endurance and patience as the year's winding down. And I just thank you for their dedication to our students. I pray, Lord, that you would go with us, that we would have clarity of thought and understanding the issues, that we would be able to make wise decisions, always remembering our students. And help us, Lord, to be agreeable even when we don't agree. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Throw me the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. You may be seated. Our first item is approval of minutes. We had 3 last time. March 6th was the budgetary meeting, our regular meeting, and then April 2nd was our team building meeting. So if everybody's had a chance to look at those, I would entertain a motion and waive the reading of them.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Ray, second by James. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Next is recognitions.
All right, so our first recognition is our 226 awards. I think we have a group of high school students here tonight who did pretty good at our recent UIL academic competition, 26 4A competition, which is held at Wharton County Junior College. So with that, is it Mr. Kenny?
Yes, sir.
So Mr. Kenny's going to introduce.
Thank you. So every board meeting we hear Mr. Galloway talk about the 226 award. The Columbia Independent School District is 225 square miles. So the 226-mile award is for those that go the extra mile. We'd like to recognize a group of students that have gone the extra mile. They dedicated their time, put some hard work in. A lot of times it was after school hours to prepare to compete in the UIL competition. And all of the people that we are introducing today ended up winning their competition. So we wanted to recognize them. Okay, so Caitlin Durham, if you'll come up, first place in editorial.
All right.
Just stay here, yeah. We'll do pictures in a minute. You want to go? Jordan Williams, first place for persuasive speaking. Anything you want to persuade the board about?
I'm super cool, guys.
Okay. Billy Williams, first place chemistry. Cash McCracken, first place literary criticism. Now also, we had our literary criticism team take first place as a team, so we'd like to recognize all of them as well. First place in that competition, obviously, was Cash McCracken.
Yeah.
Raylan Taylor was 4th place. Congratulations. 2nd place was Mark Sargent. Congratulations. And Marissa Siner was the alternate on that team. We'd like to recognize her as well. Come on up, Marissa. Congratulations. We had 2 that were unable to make it. Riley Huckabee was first place in computer applications, and Carly Miller was first place in biology, but she is off representing Columbia High School at our district golf, our regional golf tournament. Pictures, you can come up, get closer if you would like to. We'll pose for a couple.
Together, we're gonna get one big group picture. Back up. Ready, everybody? Okay.
Good.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Mr. Kenny, would you mind telling everybody what's up next for them?
For everybody here?
Yes. So they will be advancing to
Oh,
regional.
okay, I thought you meant the board meeting. I was like, I think they're done.
They will be advancing to UIL Academic Regional Competition, which will be held the weekend of April 27th in Corpus Christi at Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Good luck to you all. Good luck.
I was like, campus communications are next, what? Thoroughly confused.
All right, so next is campus communication. Well, yeah, campus communication. So Cody, who do we have first?
First up is Barrow.
Barrow, Principal Cody.
I was last week.
Yes, you were.
So y'all all
Keeping us on our toes.
Yes. So one of the things that we have come to love at Barrow Elementary is our annual, we're going to just call it annual now, Easter egg hunt. So our Easter egg hunt every student gets to participate, 2nd through 5th grade. The picture on the left is one of our 5th grade students. They absolutely love it. You would think that maybe they're not interested, but they enjoy it. Our pals do a wonderful job stuffing 10 eggs per student. So they stuff close to about 4,000 eggs. In the eggs, there are candy. They print passes, so students can have no homework pass, a hat pass, stinky feet pass, so something that they can enjoy. And it's a good time. This year, the sponsor, Ms. De La Rosa, put confetti eggs, added about a dozen confetti eggs to each grade level, and they had a great time. It's fun. The next pictures, our solar eclipse, it was great. So again, another one of our organizations we have on campus helped sponsor this event for us. Our student council, student council members voted to purchase solar eclipse glasses for every student and staff member. They purchased moon pies for everybody on campus and Capri Sun. One of the things that our students did afterwards is they donated their glasses back, and we are getting ready to send all of our glasses to schools in South America because they will have their solar eclipse in August. It's August. So we are going to donate them back to other students. I like that one because if you look, the picture on the right, it had Miss De La Rosa and Miss Glover with their glasses. That's a good one. And then the next thing we have, STAR testing has started. So we have started having STAR pep rallies. This year we let our knowledge glow, and we had a blackout glow party, pep rallies. And the students participate from every grade level, participated in different carnival style games. So you can see the wheel behind the TV, because we sent a permission slip home for the eclipse viewing, and students who were not able to go outside, they stayed inside, and we had it on NASA. So they were able to watch it while they were inside. But behind the TV, you can see the wheel. It's one of those old school Velcro gloves you put on, you throw the tennis ball out. So the students had to try to toss it at the Velcro glove to get it but the wheel spins. We had, you can see like the mannequin heads, in the right, in the basketball students, we had a glow basketball. Students had to try to make the basketball into the hoop. We were gonna flush the stars, so we had a toilet seat mounted to a box, and the students threw toilet paper into the toilet. And what other game? We had glow putt-putt. And so students earned points for their grade levels, and then of course in traditional pep rally style, we ended it by awarding the most spirited grade level the Spirit Stick, and it's a good time. Our second graders, everybody participates, and they absolutely love it. Last but not least, we have we were all able to nominate and pick our Teacher of the Year, New Teacher of the Year, and Paraprofessional of the Year. So pictured, you have the wonderful staff members that we were able to nominated by their peers, and we were able to move forward to officially announcing that they were either Teacher of the Year, Miss Johnson in the middle, our New Teacher of the Year, Miss Petaway on the left, and then our Paraprofessional of the Year, Miss Angie on the far right. These ladies do so much for us. All of our staff members do, but it just means so much for them to have been selected and nominated by their peers, so recognize them.
Thank you. Principal Kenny.
All right, so first, just an update on the construction. It's very exciting. We're seeing concrete pads poured, steel beams go up. They're starting to put roofs on. Over here, we're starting to see the cinder block on the side, so we're starting to see the building take shape, and it's very exciting. So just wanted to give some updates on that. Next, we had our health sciences take their CPCT exam, which is the patient care technician certification exam. They all passed the first time, so 100% success rate the first time. First time she's had a group do that, so now they're preparing for their CPT, which is current procedural terminology. So they're preparing to receive another certification. The forensic science did an arson unit. It was pretty cool to see. So they all built a house. They came up with the inside design plan, a story of how the fire started, and they had to start it in a certain part of the house. They let it burn for a little bit, and then they took them back into the lab and looked at the burn patterns to see if the story they had matched what actually took place. And so one of them, they were very excited because they did an orphanage with a second story, and you could see the fire start to burn the second story. It was pretty cool to watch, and they were excited to see their creations burn and then go back and see what they could figure out from the evidence. So it was a pretty cool academic thing that we got to watch. Golf, as I mentioned, is at regionals. Our boys placed third in district. We had 2, Major Marshall and Grayson Nugent, advance to the districts, and then our girls won first place, so the entire team advanced, and Carly Miller did win first place for the third year in a row. She won that first place in district. So we're very proud of them. The boys finished up today, girls start tomorrow. UIL choir, they went and performed at the Clarion in competition. So they did very well. They got superior ratings, as you can see, excellent ratings with their concert and sight reading. The treble choir also got superior ratings in both categories, which is called the sweepstakes. They sweep both categories in our mixed choir as well. That's all right. So they were very excited to show off their trophies as they should. And Ms. Halliday went, she said it was just angelic, the sounds that these kids were able to make. So. And then our one-act play, Jordan Williams was here earlier, and so was Caitlin Durham, so that we see that they are multi-talented. But Jordan Williams made the all-star crew, and then we have some honorable mentions with Kimberly Rodriguez and Alex Stroud. So the entire team does advance to the by-district round. Then we also have our new teacher of the year. Teacher of the year is the same thing. It was nominated and voted on by staff, Ms. Reese Bucci. In the CTE program of floral design was voted new teacher of the year. And Nikki Valdez, who is our 504 coordinator and works on those reading classes, was our teacher of the year. Want to invite everybody to the Columbia Brazoria FFA Awards Banquet. You'll be getting official invitations from Ms. Lambert, but I wanted to give you a heads up on that. So that'll be coming up Tuesday, May 7th. It's at the Heritage Hall. Good dinner. We see them give awards to students and introduce next year's officers. So if you can make that, please do. Also, we're having a blood drive coming up on May 2nd. It'll be in the library. So we're asking people to come in and help donate blood. I know Ms. Galloway and I've had a conversation in the past. We used to lead the entire county with the amount of blood that was raised. So we'd like to start getting back to that. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. We'll have to have them check in at the front office and escort them to the library to have that done. But we can manage that with our student workers. So we'll put that on Facebook. There's a link for people to set up appointments because they prefer to have the appointments set up so they know who's coming, and then that'll help us also with making sure that escorts keep them when they do. And that's it.
All right. Junior high, full of stereo.
All right, so we are wrapping up all of our standards and trying to come up with really engaging, fun activities to make sure that our students are prepared for finishing up this year and preparing them into next year. So you see some flag football going on in an ELA classroom. They get really competitive and engaged, but just making learning fun while we review all of the standards that have been taught for the school year. And then on the next page, we also had our ELA project night. We had a great turnout for this. 7th grade and 8th grade had their project night. 6th grade will be coming up in next week, I believe. But some of our students are truly creative. They put a lot of work into these, and it was a lot of fun to walk around and see their hard work and creativity. So I wanted to share that with you guys. We also had new teacher of the year, Coach Jarrett Brown. He teaches 8th grade history for us. The teacher of the year at the junior high was Miss Hannah Bernardi. She's our life skills teacher, and so she's done a really great job with our students. And then we have paraprofessional of the year, Miss Katie Shirley, who's also a phenomenal teacher. All right, here's some fun pictures of our pep rally. We just wanted to lighten the mood and have our students come in and play some games, go over some different testing strategies that were led by students, but just kind of get them into the testing atmosphere. And so we played game students versus teachers or admin, and we had a lot of fun. So I just kind of, the pictures kind of speak for themselves on how much fun we had. So on the next page, you'll see we held 3 pep rallies that Monday. So 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, and lots of smiles were had. So it was a lot of fun. And the teachers got just as competitive as the students did. So yeah. All right, we also had solar eclipse at the junior high. We did have the permission slip and have science classes go out, but it was nice. It was fun to see. Several parents came up to experience it with their students and go out and see the solar eclipse with their students. So that was neat. They really got into it. So wanted to showcase that. We celebrated Assistant Principals Appreciation Week and also National School Librarian Day with Miss Phillips, our librarian. So lots of things happening at the junior high this month.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Let's call me out Principal Bolton.
All right. Last but not least, right? Our first.
Mary's not gone.
Okay. So first, I want to share with you something we're doing for the last 9 weeks to increase our PBIS and help kids stay the track with the Wildcatter Way for the last 9 weeks. And so we started a compliment tracker. So every classroom has a tracker with 20 squares on it, and every time the class gets a compliment for following our PBIS or Wildcatter Way in the hallway, they get to color in a square. When they fill all their squares, they get a popsicle party. So the kids have kind of been competing about their excellent behavior in the hallways, and we've already had several classes get to have their first popsicle party for following the Wildcatter Way. So we're going to end the year playing on good behavioral terms. We also had our solar eclipse viewing party. It was so fun. The entire campus was out. We had stations all around, and everyone, including the teachers, loved it and had a wonderful time. And everyone had their glasses and was safe and had a wonderful viewing party. Also, we celebrated Paraprofessional Appreciation Day. All of our paraprofessionals are in pictures here so that you can kind of see what our paraprofessional staff looks like. We have a wonderful group of ladies at West Columbia Elementary School that do amazing things for our kids each and every day. So we gave them a little inspirational bag with some goodies inside just to let them know how much we appreciate them. We also announced our Teachers of the Year, new Teacher of the Year and Paraprofessional of the Year. Our Teacher of the Year is Ms. Pam Sanders, very deserving, one of the hardest working ladies on the planet, loves her kids like nobody else. Our new Teacher of the Year is Ms. Valeria Soto. She is bilingual. We love that about her, and she has joined us this year and has been doing a great job in 4th grade reading. And Ms. Melissa Conrad has been our Paraprofessional of the Year after many, many years of service at WCE, so we're proud of her as well. We also had something which we call our second annual time to do art in the park at West Columbia Elementary School. And this year we paired it with our STEAM or string night as well. And we had the book fair going on, so that we're going to show some pictures of kids planting seeds, the book fair. Here's finger painting on the right. And I think there's another slide coming later with some more art pictures. I also wanted to highlight that we were very blessed to be able to host the UDL cohort from Region 4 at West Columbia Elementary School a couple weeks ago. We've had many teachers participating in that all year long, learning about how to design
Explain to them what
lessons.
UDL is.
It's the Universal Design for Learning, and it really incorporates different ways to engage students in learning and different ways for students to demonstrate the way that they have learned lessons. And it has a large component of using digital resources to do that, but in creation-oriented ways, not just using a program. So we had many teachers volunteer to participate in this all year long, and Region 4 selected us to be the host site for the showcase final professional development that we had. So these are all the ladies from Region 4 and our teachers that participated. We had an expert from almost every content area from Region 4 come and give outstanding professional development to our teachers. And we're hoping to start a movement on our campus of getting more teachers involved with that. I have teachers coming to me now and saying, what is that? I want to do that. How can I be involved and do that next year? So I'm very excited about you know, the passion that it's kind of stirring up in our teachers. And then again, here's some more pictures from our Art in the Park with chalk art. And they made stained glasses with different shapes and mobile art as well. We had, I think, a good over 100 families participate in Art in the Park this year, which is a big increase from last year. It was enjoyed by all. Thank you so much.
And Principal McCarthy.
Okay,
Last but not
so I get to be last. I am not. So we've been busy at Wild Beach, as always. We had our career day on Friday, and career day for little people is a little bit different than career day for big people. And we invited local businesses and companies and entities to send a work vehicle to Wild Peach Elementary, because little children, they like to touch things and they have a gazillion questions. So something that they can touch, climb on, and not be told, don't touch that, be quiet, all that good stuff. So we also had a special group of visitors, the life skills class from West Brazos Junior High. They needed an opportunity for a field trip, and I was asked if they could come. Of course, come on over. So you can see the West Brazos Junior High School kids with the maintainer from Brazoria County Road and Bridge. Back up. Then we had the United States Coast Guard bring out their rescue boat, which apparently they've been using over the weekend quite a bit, if you read the facts. We had Sunbelt Rentals bring out a bobcat and the little digging machine, I forget what you call that, but whatever that thing is, a trencher. We had Sweeney EMS, and the kids got to play dead in the back of the vehicle. We had the dog catcher come, and you can see he's caught Mr. Maxie. Okay, now you can go, Cody. He did not catch any of the children, but he held out the stick for them to feel the rope. They liked that. So when the junior high came over, they came on a bus, and all the kids wanted to see the bus, even though they ride a bus every day. So I believe that's Charlie. Charlie's like, yeah, they can come see the bus. And one of our students will be going on her first field trip tomorrow, and she's never been on a bus, so it was a perfect chance for her to get to try out the wheelchair lift. And Charlie was just great with all the kids, so we need to invite transportation to our career day next year. Awesome. Of course, the fire truck was a big hit. The biggest hit of all was HEB. Not only did they send a big truck, they sent their 2022 Driver of the Year, who has 1.3 million safe miles. This man worked his way up from a shelf stocker to a driver to the Driver of the Year. And he told the kids briefly his little story, but in a way that children could understand. He told them about HEB, their founders, their careers. This man, this big burly guy, was just so good with these little kids. And he brought HEB Buddy, and somebody from the transportation department out of Houston came with them, and everybody got to climb in that big truck and pump the horn and all that. It was amazing. But not to be outdone, Mr. Champagne, you'll appreciate this. Andrew Zambada, he has a little boy, Andre, who goes to our school, and they brought out the bucket truck and a work truck. And the kids they're mesmerized by watching that bucket truck go up and down. But Andre got to help his dad when his class came through. He's showing them the fiber optic cable, and apparently you can push a button and some light comes out of the fiber optic. But kudos to BTEL. Those were the two most popular ones that came for our career day. We also did Eclipse, but we did it up big in a Wild Peach way in our STEM lab. The kids used flashlights and glow-in-the-dark stuff, as you can see in the top left, to make an eclipse with a flashlight, a styrofoam ball, and a paper plate. Then the next picture of the little boy, he made a paper plate eclipse model, and there's a moon on a stick that they can rotate around to cover up the sun and to experience an eclipse. And then I got glasses for all of the kids, so we all laid out and watched the eclipse. I was bad, I didn't send home a permission slip. I figured this is a science activity. If they don't want to participate, they can call me. I did not ask for permission. We just did it. Moving along. So last month I told you I was having the Texas Mobile STEM Lab come out and visit, and it was pretty awesome. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. Well, they've taken it to another level. They've incorporated literacy into it. So we had a choice menu of activities that we could pick from, and they were all based on a children's storybook. So there's one, The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. So the presenters read the story, and after the story, they presented the children with an engineering problem. In the case of The True Story of the Three Little Pigs, the wolf says that he wasn't really trying to blow the house down, he just had really bad allergies. So the kids had to build a house that could withstand a wolf in allergy season. So Mr. Champagne, you'll appreciate this, the kids were given a budget. They got 20 coins, and they got a materials list. You can appreciate that. And they had to purchase items from this materials list and stay under budget. So some groups didn't think very well. One group bought 3 pairs of scissors because they each wanted to have a pair of scissors instead of being able to share. So they didn't use their money wisely and didn't have enough materials to build their project. Other groups would do like you do. Here, I want one. Here, I want one. And keep stealing it out. I just laughed and laughed because I knew that you would appreciate that because you're so budget conscious. But anyway, Mr. Raymond, my STEM teacher, he got to go through a couple of times, and it inspired him to make his STEM projects that he's already doing even more because of this. And the Texas Education Agency was doing an on-site visit for Ms. Cohey's campus, and they knew that the STEM lab was going to be there, and so they were invited to come over. And I told them to interact with the children, to not just stand there, and so they did. And they had a great time playing with the kids as well, because it's boring when you've just got people standing there looking at you. It's more fun when adults play. So you can see the materials list. You can see one of the little boys trying to blow down his beanstalk before they came around with the fan, which was the wolf sneezing. Top right, they did Goldilocks, and they had to build a chair that a guest could sit in. One of the most unique ones was a book based on an American Indian folklore tale called Finding My Dance, and the kids had to make musical instruments that you could hear at the opposite end of the trailer. And that was a big triple axle trailer. It was huge. Anyway, STEM Lab was a great big hit. Thanks, Sam. And we did Autism Day to wear blue to support our children with autism. And these are 2 of my little guys in our autism class. And this program has really made a difference in these little boys' lives. They're doing a little bit of mainstreaming this year, and they're going to be in a regular class with support next year. And I was really bad and forgot to send my Teacher of the Year pictures. Our Instructional Paraprofessional of the Year is Sherry Staggers. She provides personal care for our children who need caring for. Our new Teacher of the Year was Mallory Rhodes, who's been teaching kindergarten. And our Teacher of the Year is Melanie Lackey. And I apologize for omitting the picture.
So Mary, you were speaking of the visit by TEA. Were you CC'd on the email?
Yes, I was.
Would you mind sharing with the board what they said? If you can remember.
I can. So, you know I like to talk about politics. And just a little bit. I was talking to one of the ladies about
From TEA.
about how much
the STEM lab meant to us because we don't have people around to do things with us. So it really meant a lot. So that got me onto the autism grant. And I started telling her about the amazing impact it's had on our children. Because before, our special ed classes were kind of just a babysitting warehouse. Kids never really made a lot of progress. They didn't really make IEP progress. And with the STAR Autism program, these kids are growing leaps and bounds. And those little guys that I showed you, instead of having a future of being segregated, they're gonna be out with everybody else because of this program. And I was just telling her about the positive impact of the STAR Autism grant. And so she asked, well, what could we do to continue to support it? And Samantha and Jennifer and I have been talking about what's next. And so I was, just talking to her that now we need to get support for the general ed teachers because they don't always know what to do or how to do it because they've got 20 and now you're asking them to take one more who's like having 10. So she wrote back and was asking what grant was this? It's the autism grant. Samantha helped me out. So anyway, I just was able to have some positive communication with the Texas Education Agency about good things that are happening in CBISD because of things that they have done for us. Number one, the STEM lab, and number two, the autism grant. And it was cool to have them actually listen.
Okay. So I did respond.
Oh, did you?
And told them that I was very appreciative of that. And one of the comments they made is that they were going to go back and talk to their fellow members at TEA that are responsible for this grant and tell them how big an impact it's had, and that they've seen it. And so when she asked what could we do, I replied back and said I would love to see this grant just continued, and we would be happy to be a model campus for them.
Yeah, we've already had visitors come in to see.
Wow, that'd be neat.
But I just can't tell you enough how much this grant has impacted Wild Peach Elementary and the children and their families. The growth that these little guys and girls have made from a really, really regimented curriculum and total structure and thorough training and data collection. It's just amazing. And to get them to the point where they can go out and eat lunch with a class at a table with their peers who are the same age, to get them where they can go into a kindergarten or a first grade class and be there for story time or math time instead of just center time. It's pretty impactful. Will they always be autistic and have autistic tendencies? Yes. We're never gonna fix them because you can't fix them, but you can help them learn to cope and be successful. And that's what we're doing with this grant. And it just really means a lot to Wild Peach and CBISD and the children and the parents. And I hope that this will continue after I'm gone, because it's been amazing to watch the transformation of the special ed program at Wild Peach.
Neat.
Awesome.
Neat.
Thank you, Ms. Mary.
You're welcome.
And I would just say that Jose and Andrew came back the next day, and all they talked about was your campus, you as a human being, how you knew every child's name there. They were so impressed with the campus.
Well, thank you. And I do know every child.
And on a different note, did you have a surprise last month?
She doesn't like surprises.
We heard that. You didn't like surprises, but we kept our mouth shut so you would have a surprise.
You know, it was almost as bad as her saying that I couldn't sit on the back row today.
I just having a hard time sitting by me. I said you.
I don't like for things to be focused on me. I don't mind going out and doing things, but I don't like for it to be focused back on me. And so the day that I had to come to Mr. Galloway's office for my final evaluation with him, Catherine Mater called me to come to the cafeteria to help her with some kind of decoration for something that we were doing. And so the first thing I noticed that my secretary was wearing an Astros shirt that I had made for her. The second thing I noticed when I got to the cafeteria was that everybody else was wearing an Astros shirt. I'm like, hang on. And I turn around, and down the hall, this Mardi Gras float's coming, this big, huge orange thing, and all these people, and all this noise. And so I went out the back door, and they chased me. And so I got in my car and I left them. And I had to come over here and stuff all this down and sit with Mr. Galloway, who kept his mouth shut the whole time. Meanwhile, on my way over here, my phone's ringing and blowing up. First Katrina's calling me, my husband's calling me, my secretary. So we get to the end of my evaluation, and he lets the cat out of the bag that they had called him as well. So what they were doing on this huge Mardi Gras float thing, they were bringing me a cactus because I consider myself to be a cactus. Don't touch me, I don't like it. But I'm really kind of soft on the inside. And so they brought me this big, huge cactus, a pencil cactus, because I'm the principal and I am known for taking notes. And they know that I also very much enjoy the Astros and baseball, and they got me tickets to opening day, so Eddie and I went to opening day for the Astros. And it was a very nice gift that I did not receive well. I don't. I've been telling people, I don't want to party. I don't want to party. I don't.
So you got
And so they got me anyway.
Good. We were excited when we heard about it.
Yeah, that's
so.
great.
I was mortified.
If you'd have just let the Astros win, it would have been a perfect day.
That's David Raymond's fault. He was there too. He was busy clowning around. But anyway,
Well,
I was mortified. Absolutely mortified, but very grateful in the end.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Next, we have citizens to be heard, and we have Savannah Stewart that has signed up. So you can stand up, come up, whatever you're going to do. On our citizens to be heard, you have 5 minutes of time to speak. It's not an agenda item, so we're not able to respond back, but the floor is open to you as long as you don't talk about any personnel or something like that.
All right, the reason I'm here today is to talk about policies and procedures across the district. There's lacking uniformity across the district. What's being received in one campus is not being received in another campus. More specifically, I'd like to address the grading policy today. I have read grading policies from surrounding districts, and ours pale in comparison. I can also see that the policy that we do have is not being upheld. So the reason that I am in this, the reason that I'm running right now is it started out about my kids, but I see other kids who suffer from these things, and I want to be a voice for all of them. They all deserve to have the same education, the same opportunities, and I think that things can just be done a little bit better to allow that to happen. Let's see. One of the main things is the correction process. Corrections, for me, is not about them getting a better grade. Corrections indicates that the learning was not received by the student. And so other policies that I've read, they instruct teachers to reteach in those situations. That's not currently occurring with any of my children. I don't know. I'm sure there are some teachers who are following that. Additionally to the corrections is Skyward. I grew up with parents who had to use the old school paper grade book. I watched them put their grades in every night. I watched them struggle to call parents every night to keep them informed about how their students were doing and, really trying to get them involved. We have systems now like Skyward where parents are able to go in and see those grades and keep track, and there's a lot of parents who really do want to stay on top of those things, but it's hard whenever the grades are not being put in timely. Our policy states that grades should be updated weekly. They are not. I have time-stamped photos. I have emails from teachers who ask for apologies that they had not put a grade in from March until last week because they were busy with their extracurricular responsibilities. These things all affect the kids from their stress level, because some of them are highly motivated and they watch their grades. Mine know how to get into their Skyward. They know how to check their grades. Not all kids have that. Not all kids have their parents to stay on top of them. But mine are stressed out every time that they see something marked missing. And the way that it is being marked missing in Skyward is with a 1. Now, that'd be one thing if it was because they blatantly didn't do their homework. I understand that point. There are multiple instances where they were absent from school, and that same day that they were absent at home sick, their assignments are marked missing. That 1 goes in the grade book as a 0 and can quickly cause a failing grade. Timing of that can also affect eligibility for extracurriculars. If they were absent the week of a grade check and those grades are being put in, what opportunity do they have to correct that in time before the grade check? I also think that it's inappropriate because they were never given the opportunity to receive the assignment in the first place. Not just focusing on the use of the 1 in the grade book, I have been informed by a member of the staff that there is another method to use. You can mark it with an M, which is for missing, and that will not result in a 0 in their grade. So I began this conversation at the beginning of the school year of 2022 with, I guess I can't mention the name of who I discussed it with.
Administrator, teacher, that's fine. You're not condemning them in any way.
Okay, so this conversation went on for the time period of over a year with Mr. Kinney. I have multiple emails back and forth. We engaged. He is the one who found the solution with the M in the grade book system. And I think that there was supposed to be some training with the teachers given by Ms. Eubanks to teach them about this feature. However, that never came to fruition. And so I'd give it a little bit of time because he said change takes time. Gave it a little bit of time, reached back out, still happening. He even said that he had had a discussion with Mr. Galloway, who agreed. He saw the impact that it made and that would be an appropriate change. And here we are in 2024, and it's still happening. So given the platform that I have right now, the things that I'm discussing seem to be getting addressed pretty quickly. And so at the end of the day, my goal is to help the kids, and whether or not I'm in a different role next year, I want to take this opportunity to try and get that improvement going.
Thank you very much. Next is reports. And we're going to skip down to number 4 for the delinquent tax collection report. The man of the hour.
Good evening. Good to see everybody. I thought I'd bring a prop tonight and do a little something different than what I normally do. Because you see my pie charts and graphs all the time. You're familiar with them. So I thought I'd talk to you about the little bit not as easy part of the work that I do. And this beautiful orange sticker made its way by a couple of businesses today while I was in town doing some work, along with the deputy sheriff. That we had to visit some businesses to try to get them to pay. So far, I'm 1 of 2, and I expect the second one to be resolved this week. And what it points out is that, what we do while we do letters, we do phone calls, we do lawsuits, all these various things to try to get people to pay. There are situations where we have to get a little more forceful or aggressive to try to collect money that's owed to the taxing entities. Fortunately, most of the time, it never results in actually having to seize and sell somebody's business to satisfy the taxes. But sometimes you need to get that action out there to get people to realize that everything else you're trying to do to get to that point meant something, and if they had dealt with it, they wouldn't have to meet me for the first time in person with the sheriff and asking for payment. The other thing I wanted to point out for you tonight, and I know several of you get our emails on our tax sales, but between February, March, April, and now coming up in May, we've had a multitude of properties in the district that have had to go up for sale. Several of them were paid before the sale, which is great. Several of them sold at the sale. And for those of you most of you that have been around for a while will remember all the trials and tribulations we've been through with Bar X Ranch and how the values have gone up and down over time as things have changed. People get to understand the property better. And I was trying to count in my head today how many of those properties I've probably filed lawsuits on and foreclosed between y'all and Angleton, and it's got to be over 200 at least if there's been one. And we're coming to the end of that project, our internal project, to get any property that doesn't always flood in there up for sale if we can't get the taxes paid. And recently, at the last tax sale, we had several in Barracks that sold for $19,000. And again, if you remember, there were times that we were grateful to get a bid of $2,000 or $3,000 to try to get the property back on the tax roll. So, within the county, the desire that people have for land and to live here continues to be strong. As you all know, there's a lot of activity going on that's hopefully bringing additional value to the district and in the county. And through the end of March, your 2023 taxes, you already collected a little over 90% of what you had levied. On April 1st, the unpaid 23 taxes were turned over to us to collect, and that's what I'm working on today in collecting. And then in May, the tax office will mail out notices to people that haven't paid the 2023 real property taxes. And then when July comes around, we start yet another season, which under my math will be my 42nd tax season to collect delinquent taxes. I'm wondering, what am I doing? But for me, it's I don't know, I still enjoy it. It's still an exciting thing to do. And when I hear the things that are going on here tonight and the energy that you all have and that the kids have, it in a weird way, it motivates me to do more. And so I look forward to yet another season. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions, Mr. Champagne or the board, on anything that's within the confines of this report. I made it easy for you tonight.
Another question I have, with interest rates rising last year, and you hear some of the economy's slowing, some it's not, it's still growing, inflation's the same. Have y'all seen any effects from rising interest rates on people having difficulty paying from that standpoint? Is it pretty much the same old stuff that's happening right now?
Pretty much the same stuff, because if people are buying new properties, they're generally gonna have a mortgage. And so the property taxes 9 out of 10 times are part of their monthly payment, so it's really not an issue. And I haven't really seen it stop people from buying property.
Okay.
Not really.
Yeah. Well, once again, we thank you for you and your firm for what y'all do and how you represent us and the professionalism that you're doing. So, Mike, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Please be safe, and we'll see you again.
You got it.
Next, we're going to skip down to the action items. We have the Westermans here. We're going to go to number 3, to consider consideration and approval of an order by the Board of Trustees of the Columbia, Missouri Independent School District authorizing the issuance of Columbia, Missouri Independent School District Unlimited Tax Accrual Building Bonds, Series 2024, levying a continued direct annual ad valorem tax for the payment of the bonds and delegate the authority of certain members of the Board of Trustees and District to approve and execute certain documents related to the sale of the bonds. Authorizing the execution of any necessary engagement agreement with the district's financial advisors and provide an effective date.
That's our own little literacy test.
Every time.
Good evening.
Good evening, Dwayne.
Pleasure to be here with you. Nick's here with me as well.
You be bachelor back there, Nick? You don't want to stand up here, buddy?
No, it's nice.
Send him up to the line, okay.
We prepared a little presentation, and I think it's up on the screen here, so we'll go ahead and go to the next page. So tonight we're here with agenda item 1 that you have to proceed with the issuance of the remaining bonds authorized by the voters in November of 2022. We sold $40 million, got $40 million of that authorization last year, so we have $39 million available to sell and still get moving and get working with all the projects you've got going on. So tonight, this is a little bit of a slightly different process than other times. We've usually sold the bonds and come to you with the results and gotten all the approval at that time. Well, now with the amount of debt that you have under state law, you can actually do this through this delegated or parameter approval that we're doing. And what this does, it allows us to get the bonds approved, and then it gives us much more flexibility as far as getting the documents done. We've got the permanent school fund guarantee. We'll get the rest of the things moving forward, but we can then sell the bonds really at any date and time. The board's approved the sale with certain parameters that we'll get to in a moment, and delegated that final approval to delegated officials, and the delegated officials would be Mr. Galloway, board president, and Ms. Taylor. And so those final things are done there. It just gives us a little more flexibility as far as trying to get market things that are going on, whatever else, and we don't have to tie it directly to a board meeting date. So with this schedule that we're working on, if you approve this tonight, we plan to move forward and market and price the bonds in mid-May, and then we would be able to have the funds to you in that early to mid-June timeframe, so you can keep rolling. As I mentioned, the board approval tonight will delegate the approval of the final terms to those officials. And I left out a word. It should say we have not used this process before. This is the first time you've been able to do it. But the parameters are, we can't sell more than $39 million. That's what's been authorized by the voters. We have a maximum maturity of February 1, 2054. It's what we're scheduled to, how we've kind of set it up through the whole process, the expectation. And we have a maximum interest rate here. It's higher than what the market is, but it gives us room in case, whatever's going on. So we have a maximum interest rate that we might achieve of 5.5%. Right now, we're looking at probably be a rate in the range of the 4.5% range based on the current market. So next, the impact this issuance would require. When we went through the bond election process, we talked about selling the bonds in these installments, and in the table that's I think still on your website, it shows that the tax rate could go up with this issuance up to as much as 32 cents. That's what was publicized. We think at the most right now it would go up to 29 cents, and depending upon what the valuations come in for 2024 and what the state really does with hold harmless, whether they live up to their words with, matching a dollar for dollar loss on the $100,000 exemption, that could be even much less. Here we are with the next page is a schedule for the debt service for the $39 million. This is using a rate of 4.75%, which we're still thinking is conservative, but just to kind of give us an idea of where we are. And then go ahead. Here is the combination schedule. I know it's a lot of numbers to read. Just really we're looking over towards the INS rate column. It's the third from the left, and if we at least get 3% increase in values for 2024, this shows that tax rate going up to like 28.6 cents, and that's where if our values come in a little better some of the state funding formula works out well, then we should still be in good
I
shape.
just got my appraisal. Just let you know, it's going up.
It's going up. Okay, there you go. And then last is just a quick, I think we've used a similar chart with you before as far as what the MMD, which is municipal market data, it's some of the indexes we use to follow the tax exempt market. You can see where it reached its peak there towards the middle with rates. This is for 5, 10, 20, and 30-year bonds. We kind of reached our peak back in November of 2023. Rates came down then, and we thought maybe we were going to be on a path of more stable, low rates and maybe even going lower, but we have seen here with some of the economic news lately that those rates are trickling up a little bit again. We'll see if that lasts or where we'll be with that. But that's just kind of a quick picture on where the rates have been. So happy to answer any questions. We're ready to move forward. We've been working on the official statement. Here's the current version of it. We've been sending to everybody and working with the bond attorneys on it. And like I said, we do have the permanent school fund guarantee in hand, so that's in place. That gives us the AAA rating, which is the highest rating and helps us get the lowest possible interest rates. So happy to answer questions.
So just for clarification, so on the sale, you're selling it out, I mean, it's structured out. Page 5, so it's,
3 pages. There you go.
that's the way it's structured out to fit in our current policy to keep our rates right. So we're doing like 120 all the way down to 5.8.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So we're setting it up so we'll have an increase this year, but then your debt service is going to pretty much be levelized from there forward. So as rates go up, we shouldn't have to see any more increase in rates, and maybe they come down or whatever if you have other needs that you need to address in the future.
And then is this structured at some point down the road, probably a long ways down the road, that you could, would it qualify for refinance if rates went down?
It will have, yes, it will have the call feature, which is the option that gives you the option to refund, to redeem early, or to refinance. So yes, it will still have that capability.
Okay.
Just as a side note, I know you're always interested, I do have some tax information that's in your room folder. Gives you our tax history since 2010. And this is a document that we prepared when we went out to audit in November of 2022. But I've updated that for this tax year. So at the top you have CBISD from 2010 to this year. And at the bottom you have the current tax rate for all these. Yeah.
So help me out, because they gave me Exhibit A and Exhibit B.
I think the short one is the motion. Yeah.
Okay. The other was actually what I read on the first one.
Yes, that was the agenda item.
There's no questions or comments. I will move that the Board of Trustees adopt an order authorizing issuance of Columbia Resort Independent School District Unlimited Tax School Building Bond Series 2024 pursuant to a delegated sale.
I'll second that.
Second by Becky. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Thanks, Dwayne.
Thank you very much.
We don't have to send 30,000 documents tonight?
You still have to do those. We can.
But not, do we need to do them tonight while you're here?
We have them here to sign tonight. It's not as imperative we do it immediately this time around, but we're happy
You're here,
to.
you want to sign it, I'll sign it if you want me to.
Okay, that's up. It takes about 5-10 minutes or so.
Can we get Jared done? And
Yeah, let's
then
take
take
so.
a break.
Yeah. You want to let them go back to your office and start spreading them out?
Yeah, y'all want to go back to the office and start laying them out? Take you back there and get everything ready. And we're going to need the, yes, perfect, seal.
Next, we'll go down to number 4, to approve the agreement between E3 and CBISD to perform certain analysis, project development, and engineering tasks.
All right, so we have Jared McCurley back with us from E3. Jared, anything you want to tell them? Just what we're doing right now?
I mean, same as last night or last time. We would just SECO has stated that you're next in line for the money, so we were just going to start designing, preparing for the money to come.
And so this agreement just locks E3 in to be the engineer, basically?
That's right.
I mean, signing this costs us no money.
That's right. Yes. I mean, you're committing to, if you do the project, that you're committing to the percentage fee, but other than that, you're not. Yes, that's right.
If I understood you last time, is as long as they approve it and everything else, that we'll pay you that, but we can get reimbursed out of the proceeds from that?
All of it, including the engineering, the whole thing, you get reimbursed, correct? Thank you.
And you pretty much had said last time that once the engineering's done and it justifies going to receive the money, that pretty much that there is the pot of money there to get that money and to execute that.
That's exactly right.
So from my understanding, the response from SECO, or the State Energy Conservation Office,
yes,
was that the next round of payments come in May.
Yes.
And so then they'll take the payments that are made and turn around and finance new projects, which would be us. Right?
That's right.
So that's what we're waiting on.
But it takes us 3 months to finish their report and engineer everything. So we won't actually have what we need to deliver to them until June or July.
Okay. And then once you deliver it, it takes them roughly how long to approve?
They approve it pretty quick, but then their contract signing process takes about another month.
So we possibly a start date of?
I expect August or September.
And so all of the projects that qualify that we submitted for official approval, we'll just be looking at how we put those in order, right?
That's right.
Complete?
Any questions or comments on that?
Good deal.
Then I make a motion, we approve the agreement between E3 and CBISD to perform certain analysis, project development, and engineering tasks.
I'll second.
Second by Ray, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take a break right quick at 7:13. We'll go sign these papers and be right back.
Say break just for you.
Appreciate the opportunity.
I'm sorry, I'm keeping you but I will get that. But
It's what it's great, but it's really about Cody, I don't think we'll need it anymore. That's what I'm sure we're okay.
if we need to, we can take it over there and
Second time, like unless they were
That's it.
and I was like, oh, they're gonna fire her if she goes up at work.
We appreciate it.
It's really budget neutral. The only time I'm gonna get
Right, but they didn't.
You sure you don't need it?
I'm positive because I'm gonna get on the patient.
Me too.
Okay.
If it just go back to work before No, it's
Saved
like
you, man.
I know he did.
5, 6 weeks apart.
You know who left my other one?
Like something she ate?
Are you sure?
Actually, it was something that she ate,
Did the package end up the way you wanted it to?
and they just happened to.
You know,
I
didn't really care.
Yeah.
I was just happy to watch it. Scotty's a good dude, man.
Man.
I was going for Kepka. I want, or Rory.
Continued happening.
I want to see Rory.
And it's 7:29, we're back in open session. We'll go back to reports.
Until today.
So Mr. Williams is not here tonight. We had a freezer that went down at Barrow, and so he's working. We figured it was better to get it done tonight than wait. So we really don't have anything in the maintenance report. The only thing, we have a bond update here in a little bit. We'll catch you up to speed there. The only thing that you probably need to know is with the power outage last week, you might have seen it at your house, but it was actually a surge. And so at West Columbia Elementary, it knocked out some motors, above ceiling motors. I want to say those motors were running about 3,000 to 4,000 a piece, knocked out 2 of them at WCE. And so they're actually working on them as we speak to get those reinstalled.
They came and repaired some this morning and we got AC by noon.
Perfect. But yeah, with equipment these days, when you get so specific, nice technology, not high maintenance, but real fine tuned, and you get that power surge, a lot of times we have issues with motherboards and things like that that get blown from time to time when we have those surges. So that's about the only thing.
Okay. Safety and security?
Not a lot new this month, just to update, the bullhorns are in. We're waiting for, I know we've been waiting since like November for those to get here, but they're in. Josh has a plan after testing is completed to get those installed on every campus. We received the radios as well. However, Chief discovered they weren't programmed correctly, and so he's working with the vendor to make sure they get them reprogrammed correctly. Our film guys, our caulkers, have moved on to Walpeach. They're working very slowly and steadily. Hopefully we'll get that done before we start the next school year at this pace. Silent panic alert technology has been installed. We're looking for a test date to roll out. So we've met that requirement that's required of us by the security standards. The only thing that we're waiting on to be in full compliance is the completion of the shatterproof film. As soon as they get done caulking, which will allow us with the next grant that we're pursuing, the next school safety grant, which is, I think we've been, our allotment is $150,000 if we're granted. It'll allow us to spend that money on some other things, which I plan on discussing at the next Security Council meeting, which is originally scheduled for next Wednesday. I'll be sending out feelers to make sure everybody can attend, and if we can get the people that we need there, we'll go ahead and go through with that as well. But that's all that's going on in the safety world right now. Hopefully we'll get all those projects done and we can get started on the next projects. The big purpose of that meeting is for them to give us ideas that I can bring to you on what they think the biggest bang for the buck would be to spend that security money for that grant fund. So, if you have any questions, Chief's report is in your folder. Chief, do you have anything?
No, nothing to add other than what's in the report. Anybody has any questions?
Is it Bearcom that's doing the programming?
No.
No? Okay.
Communication plus that all.
Okay.
Any questions or comments? All right. Instructional report.
All right, in your folder, you have a printout that looks like this. This is the last round of STAR interim assessments that were given. Anybody a chance to find that? Just to bring you back up to speed, what has, you have the test along the left-hand corner from EOC at the top, all the way down to 3rd grade math at the bottom. Going across the page, going into the first release test, you have the goal that the campus set for each testing area. And, the yellow is the scores from the actual release test. The next column is goal number 2, and that was for the goal going into the release test that was given in late February, early March. You can see the scores for that. Then we've given you STAR 2022 and then STAR 2023 for each of those grade levels. The next column is our goal going into STAR 2024, and we are currently already in the testing window for STAR and EOC for 2024. We did miss 2 days of STAR. We did have STAR scheduled this past week. When we missed because of power outages, On the Tuesday, we did have STAR test scheduled for them. And then because we're the main trunk comes in, and West Columbia Elementary did not have power, that meant we did not have power to replicate or push internet and connectivity through the rest of our campuses in the district. When we do lose connectivity like that, because our phones are voice over IP phones, we also lose the ability to communicate from campus to campus. You can still, the main numbers do, because everything's truncated from 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 8 number. So you can still call into a campus, but from the campus, the principal can't pick up the phone and call the extension in the cafeteria or the extension in the classroom. And so it really affects us sometimes. And so back in the day, we never thought about school safety in that manner. That was never an issue. But things are different today from a safety standpoint of what's required and what we should be doing. It really puts us in a situation if we can't have that kind of communication.
So how do you reschedule that?
Well, it used, back in the day, it used to be they tested on this day,
Right.
and then you had a makeup day.
Okay.
Well, the way they do it now is basically you get a 2-week window for each test. And so, you just have that window to get it done.
Okay.
And so we're still okay.
Okay.
What it probably forced the campuses to do, given that you lost 2 days out of one window, it probably forced them to rearrange their testing schedule, meaning they had to give an ELA test before the science test because the ELA window closed first.
Okay.
Now, what we feel bad about that is because, we talk about it, we get kids amped up, and then they come to school and they think that, that's the bad thing about this. And wish there was a better way to do it, but that's just the way we're told to do it.
Any questions or comments on that?
Okay. The other thing, since we had our first financial committee meeting, one of the things that we have done is gone back into a look at our school calendar. And so I'm holding a document that we had our PEMS person do, and to go back and look at the attendance rate on every day. Because, we always hear that, oh, you're just worried about the money kids come to school. Well, the answer to that is yes, because the state tells us that's how you get money. So what we've done is look at our calendar versus what the attendance rate's being, seeing if we can find, are there days like when it comes to Thanksgiving, Christmas holidays, Easter, are we looking? So we're looking at and comparing what happens versus how it affects our attendance rate that we turned in. And so just wanted to let you know that we're looking at that. Don't know if we'll be bringing any recommendations for a change on the schedule, but I want you to know that we're at least looking at it for that. What we've already seen is that Mondays and Fridays are bad no matter what week it is.
Yeah.
So our highest attendance dates are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Our lowest attendance dates are Monday and Friday, regardless of what we do. That's all I have for you.
Okay. Quarterly investment report.
Julie?
Our average interest that we're getting is around 5.3, 5.4. We had investment income this last quarter of over 1.8 million. Of that, 1.3 was from the bond money. We are still keeping everything at Texas class. They're most everything. They are the ones offering the 5.465 interest right now.
Sounds like a plan. And I don't remember in the past, but their rates, do they fluctuate very much?
They haven't been. They've been staying right. Well, they've been staying anywhere from 5.1 to 5.3, but they've been.
Okay, so it's pretty much above 5, pretty much.
Yeah.
Questions, comments on that? Finance report? We have a finance report.
We do.
Besides investment?
No, you should have a copy of it. We're still slow on our coming in, about 10% on taxes, slower coming in, and our state, from the state, usually we're at 60%, we're just at 41%.
Is that in our folder or was it?
It's probably attached.
It was attached.
Oh, it's supplemental tax.
And then our expenses are still running about 71%, so about 4% less than what we had projected. So we feel good about that. And we have looked at the revenue numbers just to make sure they're still in line and we're still on track of what we anticipate getting.
Anything on the state template yet?
No, we, they're expected end of April, we'll get our projected tax levy or property tax, and then we'll start doing that. Right now, I'm just working on the expense side to see where we're at, what we, where we're at salary wise and with all our other expenses. And then once we get the stuff from Missouri County, I'll start working with Mo Casey to get the revenue side to see where it's gonna go.
And so did you look at last year, like I said, I know we took out the Shores budget portion. Do you have an idea of a general idea of what we might have to definitely make up? I guess you have a way to call it or whatever.
Yep, so the numbers are from SHAR's 800,000.
Okay.
From the autism grant that we talked about, 200,000. From IDEA, which is more federal services, 200,000. And then if you remember, Julie talked to you about the workers' comp fund, about putting in a calculation to put money into that. That would be another 200,000. And so the number we're looking at, the number you asked for is 1.4. Okay. I will tell you that we have been looking at salary and positions and things. And I can tell you as of today, through attrition, not firing anybody or taking anybody's jobs, but through attrition, we've identified over $700,000 savings already. So I just want you to know that. So that number's not 1.4 now, it's, yeah. And we haven't touched, there's a lot of, we still have other positions that are on the board based on what happens with resignations and so forth. And we haven't even gone into, this is true, just mainly in the instructional world. We haven't gone to support services yet, things like that. Okay. Also, wanted to let you know that we contracted with TASB. Wendy has been working with TASB over the last several months. Our staffing survey and salary guide, we have two pieces of it. We have received the first segment back. I will be putting that in your board letter this weekend, that attachment. And what that is it's and that's very pertinent to what we're doing now. It takes CBISD, that size of school we are, and it takes same size and similar schools across the state of Texas and compares what we have versus what they have. And it shows you what they have, shows you what we have, and it makes recommendations. You're low in this area, you need to consider adding. You're high in this area, you need to consider taking away, but it also makes suggestions for reductions of budgets and things like that. So we'll be sharing you with that, but remember, it's a number. It's just pure numbers, right? Meaning there could be a district our size that has 7 campuses. We have 5. There could be a district our size that has 3, or sometimes even 2. And so you run into that economies of scale or diseconomies of scale when you do that. So it's all sitting down. It just gives you information to make decisions on. Right. So would be sharing that with you this weekend. I know Julie and I talked about that coming in May before the May meeting. If the finance committee, if you wanted to meet, we could meet. I'll send that salary with a staffing survey to you. You kind of digest it, and we come together and have a special meeting in May just to, hey, we want one more of these, less of that. And it takes everything into the district. It takes everything from class sizes to how much area a custodian cleans. So it's pretty comprehensive. I think you'll find it as good information. Now, you have to look, sometimes we've made local decisions, like here's an example, one of the cost-cutting scenarios it gives is to eliminate nurses and go to LVNs. We made that decision a long time ago to stay with RNs. And simply because there are certain things an LVN can't do. It has to work under the license of an RN, supervision of RN. And sometimes our RNs don't like the way an LVN does it and will say, I refuse to let her work or him work under my license.
At some point, we did hire some LVNs.
We did.
Experienced that exact same thing. We had some good numbers.
Many years ago,
RNs that left because of that exact situation.
Correct. So anyway, I'm throwing that out there. You can remember some of the decisions we've made locally in years past.
Errors in the library.
Correct. There for a while, we got rid of library.
Librarians is in it. Yeah, that's a suggestion as well. Yeah. One of the things you'll see discrepancy in number of teachers as an example. One of the things I shared with the most glowing recommendation, the thing that it says we have way too many of is career and technology teachers. And so when you look at the number of career and technology teachers we have versus a district our size, we're off the charts on the graph. We're also off the charts on the graph when it comes to special education teachers and aides. But when you go and look, and if you take for Mary's campus, where you look at the economically disadvantaged rate and the special ed rate, and then Barrow as well, it kind of it justifies it. And so there are anomalies that you have to find. That's the thing you'll see when you're looking at from other schools. Our campus our size, unless you dig hard to research. Correct. You don't know that there's 70% economic challenge or whatever your special ed rate is. Right.
Or that we're right there at the coast where all VA industry is.
Right.
Yeah, the
Anyway, sometimes there's a rhyme and reason for why we're high, or sometimes why we're low. That's not as high as somebody else. Yeah. But it's good information. And it's great talking point.
So I'm sorry, my computer went down, it's logging back in, but did you say maybe in May we'll have to start having workshops, is what you said? Okay.
Yeah, but given that Julie may not have, before the May meeting, she may not have a template for you to look at until the May meeting.
Right. But we can look at.
But staffing-wise, that might be something we do, since staffing is 83% of your budget, total your budget. Right. And that's not, it's just, what we need is we got to make a decision on what, regardless of money, what we want.
Right.
So on that,
we need to give you direction.
Right.
On that,
Our priorities.
are we looking at just the committee on that? Or are we looking at the whole board on that?
We could do
the whole board again last time.
I think
we'll call a special meeting.
I agree because, this is a big decision.
Yeah, everybody needs to be involved in this.
I agree.
Yep, exactly. Yep. The other piece that comes into that too is how the whole budget plays, right? With career and technology, we add a career and technology teacher, the kids take the class, and we wind up making money on the debt, right? And so one of the things that we've been very good about, and that's why we're over and above, is that a lot of our electives have turned into CTE classes. And we need to continue to do that. Right?
It meets our kids' needs.
Part of where we're at now, because we've done other cuts, basically example at the high school. When I came as principal, we had 8 math teachers, we had 8 core teachers in each subject. Then after the first round of budget cuts, remember, we went to 7-period day to 8-period day. That allowed us to go to, we went from block schedule into 7-period day. Right. And then 7-period day, now we're at 8. And so now, like at the high school, we're at 6 core teachers, and we don't have room to cut anymore. At the junior high, we're at 2 core teachers each, right? When it comes to the elementary, we're watching class sizes, right? And so we've got a few more we can do. The problem we're going to have in cutting teachers from here on out is that you're going to cut a program, right? Because at the high school, you have 1 art teacher. If you want to cut an elective, you cut the art program. If you want to cut a theater teacher, you cut the theater arts program in speech and debate, right? So we're going to have to be careful of now.
At one point, we did that in elementaries with the fine arts and choir and other things. We did away with that.
And that's the big thing, and that's why we need to talk, right? And we've done that about what's off the board, what we would consider, right?
I know several years ago, you gave us a chart and kind of showed from, say, 2010, whatever it was, class sizes, teacher ratios,
Right.
how that's changed over time, so maybe we can see some of that too. I know you had it broken down by grade level, and I know as a large grade level goes, that teacher's rotated where it goes. You know, just
Those of you on the board quite a while, you could remember the one time we did it, we took class sizes at the elementary to 24, 25 at the young grades, 27, 28 at 5th and 6th grade. And then next year you came back and said, don't do that again.
Yeah.
Right, so, I mean, there's a history to some of these things, right?
Yeah, we've experienced just about everything in this district over the last 15 years.
Yeah. But no, I just, it's good conversation. I think it's a great conversation. Other things I have for you. Don't forget, May 14th, we've moved the May board meeting up. It's the second Tuesday, May 14th, and that is because, so that we can canvass the election and seat the new board member at that May 14th meeting. Also, preparing for June. Julie and I talked today, we suggest doing like we did last year, of holding the regular meeting on June the 18th, which is the third Tuesday, but then having a special meeting on June 25th. And the main reason for that is any follow-up, any discussion salary-wise and all those kind of things, but it also allows her to get that final budget amendment in.
Adjustments.
Yeah, for this current year. So just, if you would, write those dates down and I'll put them in your board letter again, May the 14th and then June the 18th and June the 25th. Okay, good. That's it for that.
522 report.
All right, had 5 hours of construction meetings today. Mr. Kenny, Mr. Miller, and I were tied up all day long. Over underneath the big TV, if you'd like to go, that's our materials board. It gives you a look at the materials, paint colors, outside brick, inside flooring tile, so laminates for desk and so forth. All of that's on that, so take a look at that. Also, at your table, you have a couple of, these were the drafts from today. The final will be coming in a couple of weeks. The first one, it has the big paper clip on it. I'll take you through that. If you go to page 4, that's kind of the updated graphic or rendering of the gym, of the main competition gym. That is coming in the main entrance, looking back towards the student center. You can see they've added the scoreboards and so forth. You flip the next page, that is at the other end of the gym, looking back towards the main entrance. Again, the striped materials around are the soundboards. Huh?
That's yours.
Here's,
No, I don't think you have it. You're looking at.
Jackie's got one.
Yeah.
You guys want to share one? Yeah, I think I do. We're looking at this one here right now. They're two different ones, right?
Yeah, both we're in the paperclip one right now. So Greg, if you have it, we're on page 5.
All right.
So that is, if you were sitting in the student section, looking back towards the main entrance, that's the view you'll see there. You can see the Columbia High School, because there's a beam in the middle that comes out and that's wrapped. They're gonna play with the spacing of the words and work that out.
We looked at page 4 first, we was looking from the other direction.
Yeah. So just a little information on this gym. So the gym we just tore down sat 345 people. This gym is going to sit 1,216.
Whoa.
Wow.
What did you say, 1,000 what?
216. And that includes approximately 300 chair back seats on the home side that you don't see in this rendering. Page 5 is again looking from from the Student Center back. Page 7 is the rendering of what the court will look like. On number 4, it still had that yellowish color, but we've kind of toned it down to the gray and the light gray and dark gray. So that's 7 is what the main competition is going to look like for Capitol Court. Page 8 is the rendering of the auxiliary gym court, and you can see we've named that Charlie Brown Court. Page 9, again, is just if you were on the court looking up at the student section of what that rendering will look like above the graphics there. And if you remember that to cut in, there were some sand panels, and we took the graphic all the way from wall to wall inside that cutout. Looks a little bit better.
That auxiliary gym, no seating in it?
Yes, 276 in the auxiliary gym on one side. Page 10 is, again, the rendering at the other end of the gym. Page 11 is if you were coming in one of the main entrances to the gym foyer, of what that looks like. Again, you can see right there to the right, those glass windows look into that main gym. You can see those instead of previous renderings. You can see to the top left where you see Roughnecks, that's where the graphics are going in this area.
It's just coming in from the parking lot.
Coming in from the parking lot, correct? Now, we're not putting the soft seating in here. We're gonna have like bistro type hub tables with tall stools. I think 12 of them, 4 chairs each, so seating for 48. But this area is also big enough, if Booster Club want to hold their meetings, we have roll flip top tables we can put down. It's gonna be a pretty big area. You could actually have a banquet in there sometime if you wanted to. There's restrooms, concession stand, all of that could help you.
What would be the flooring in that?
Flooring is tile. If you look over, there's 2 colors of tile. There's a lighter and a kind of a beige and then a grayish color. Not carpet, it's tile. Page 12, that's what that graphic along that, in that gym foyer area looks like.
I'm looking from inside out.
That's inside out, correct. Page 13 that'll be the graphic in the weight room area. I think our weight, it's about a 1,500 square foot weight room. And so we have Coach Pena's already met with BSN, and we have a design on that. The next page is that's the ag shop. Remember, ag shop is huge, big 2-story height. And so that's a graphic that's going to be in the middle of the ag shop. That's not the actual graphic, that's just a placeholder. If you turn to page 15 and look to the far right-hand bottom corner, where it says Columbia Ag, option 4, that will be the graphic that's in the ag shop.
How much square footage is the ag shop?
Man, don't give me the line. Big, huge.
Okay.
I'm telling you, it's big. It surpasses what we have now by a long ways. It's 2-story. All of our storage and lockers, we have a staircase that goes to the 2nd floor. So our locker, we have 40 lockers on the top where kids can store their stuff. So we've taken a lot of that stuff that just takes up floor space and moved it up. So we have room for work. So all of the electrical, air, all those things come from the ceiling, from the walls.
To free up space.
Yeah, to free up space.
And the welding shop's staying too.
Yeah, the welding shop out front by that currently is staying there.
So what, you gonna use the existing building as a welding shop?
The one we have, the welding facility we built, has what, 20 booths in it?
Yeah.
And so we teach 2 sections of dual credit welding out there first thing in the morning.
That's staying.
That's staying, yeah.
I was in there the other night, at a meeting the other night, and I saw, it looked like a classroom was set up in the shop area.
We're teaching it, any available space we have right now, we're teaching it.
Yeah.
Because we tore down the E buildings. And we're fixing, and in November, we're gonna tear G building down, so we're teaching everywhere until the new facility's open.
The new welding shop, Mr. Preston.
Yeah.
When we built 10 years ago, about 8 years ago, that's the one we're keeping.
The metal building south of the.
Metal building, yeah.
Yeah, the other one's coming down.
That used to be a storage building, it used to be when it.
No.
We
That's a new one we built.
built that building 10 years ago.
As welding.
The welding.
Yeah.
Maybe less than that.
If you flip to page 19, that is the graphic going down like in between the gyms going to the locker rooms. You can see a roughneck bleed maroon, but you can see every sport that we have is identified in a character there in the middle, both boys and girls. Turn, the next one is page 21. That is the graphic you'll see when you come up the stairs, like first floor to second floor. That's the graphic you'll see when you come up the stairs. That's my favorite. And so Chris called it today that background is actually like oil in the water. That's, yeah.
Oh, that is cool.
The next one, page 22. That is the graphic that'll be in the culinary bistro on the Elmo Cafe. The only change we have is that 1922 becomes 1920. 1922 was the first year of football, but CBISD was actually established in 1920. That's when the election passed to create a taxing entity. So CBISD was it was actually the year 1920, and I have double checked that to make sure. And so that it's going to say established 1920, and of course again we have what we call Millennium Elmo that was drawn by Mr. Chad Doe in year 2000.
If you're gonna come and autograph that for us?
We could. We might have to put his picture up or something.
We don't have to pay royalties for that, do we?
The next page 24, that is coming in the main, so the new facility, the main student entrance from the parking lot area, that's coming in. To the right, you can see that graphic. Behind that wall is the new library. And so if you turn to page 25, that's what that graphic looks like on that wall. The next one's page 26.
It's like wallpaper graphics, or like painting graphics?
No, it's what it's going to be put on the wall, vinyl type.
Okay.
On page 26, you can see that's the library. So in that end above the library, truth, honor, and integrity, that's the graphics going there. We did make a little change to it. If you turn to page 28 and look at option 1, what you see is the C around the state of Texas is a little bit more pronounced. So it's a little bit darker than the other one.
Oh, yeah.
And so we wanted to bring the C out a little bit. So that option 1 is what it'll look like. Page 29 is the graphic that'll go in basically what we're going to call the new dancing dolls area. And that is another huge facility. It's fantastic. So we have room for our dancing dolls, our cheerleaders, and our twirlers. It does have a locker facility, dressing room locker facility in it, restroom as well. And I want to say 72 lockers in that facility. The next one, page 33, to try to tie in the older parts. And so in the cafeteria, when you come in the student center, the wall to the right, kind of where the drop-down screen is, that's the graphic that they're going to put in there to kind of bring some of the graphics into the area not being touched by construction. Page 35, remember we're building a new health science lab with four beds and phlebotomy stations. We're also adding to our CTE program, we're adding an additional class. So right now we run one group. That's we'll be running 2 groups. 2 classes. So we have 2 classes at a time. So we have 2 classrooms and a lab. And so that out, and you see the doors on either side, that'll be the graphic that's on the second story outside of the health science area. Page 37, also we have another graphics area, and kind of what we're doing is on that second story, we're kind of keeping the graphics consistent. You can see Columbia High Health Science with the Elmo, Columbia High Forever with the Elmo. So that's kind of a look at some of the graphics, just so you can kind of see what's going on. Again, we'll be getting an update to this once our decisions that we made today are final. Then you have another packet I wanted to show you. This one's the one that's stapled and it has the draft on top of it. Kind of just taking you through that. That's the, this goes all the way back to the document you had since the first presentation, basically showing you the existing site. The next page kind of shows you the project planning of what comes down, what gets added when. The next page is the proposed site with kind of the new buildings in and what things are going to look like. The next page kind of gives you the first and second story floor plan. The next page is that student entrance at the front of the school. So that's that.
This is
that light blue. Is the ag building is the brown. That is culinary kitchen, and then the culinary bistro.
So Greg, on the one that says first and second floor,
On what page?
it don't have page numbers there.
Oh, it doesn't.
It's like the fourth page, this one here,
Yes.
where it shows the school, the brown section by the gyms. Right here? Right here?
Okay.
That brown part, that's the ag building. So you can see it compared to a gym.
Yeah.
Yeah, right next to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's a court size.
Yeah. It's as wide as the gym.
Floral design.
And it has a separate, we have a separate class for floral,
Yeah.
so, and a separate classroom for the, so, and a welding facility.
The department legend down there shows you agriculture, which shows that one up there.
Yeah. So flip the page, that's the main entrance coming in, the new student main entrance from the new construction. Of course, there to the library is to the left. Again, you can see cut in the graded paneling, you can kind of see we're attaching some letters so that you can you'll see Columbia there. If you flip the page.
I really like that overhang, because the original drawings, when you really have that overhang over.
Right, well, if you remember, they had it open. If you remember the first one they saw, we had it open.
Really worried about the heating and cooling of that.
Exactly. And so we've had to have discussions about how everything has to be bat-proof around here and that kind of stuff. So they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. You don't get to leave a quarter of an inch between the metal and the window. They don't get to do that, right? So very excited about that, but yeah, that looks fantastic. The next page, we had an option one, and if you kind of notice, this is what we're gonna keep the Elmo graphic there on the outside of the wall, because when you're looking at this angle, you see Columbia and that main entrance. You see the roughneck Elmo that's going to light up, and then across the gym you can see that entrance. You'll be able to see roughnecks in that same graded area. If you switch to the next page, that's kind of what the facility will look like at night. So it's going to be pretty cool how things are lit up. You're going to be able to see Columbia roughnecks. It's going to be pretty dang cool. It's going to look cool. The next one was, I think I told you in the last meeting, we were looking at the placement of the exterior Elmo, and it just kind of looks out of place there on the right. And we did check the placement, and even though it's going to be further up in the facility, the gym doesn't block it. So if you're sitting right now, if you were sitting in the home stands at Griggsville, you'd be able to see it. The next one, this was specifically something I asked for. I wanted to know what it was going to look like from transitioning from the old building to the new building. So right outside this window, when they attach the C building, this would be like, I'm looking from my chair right here of what that connection is gonna look like.
Used to be a little walkway between those.
Correct. Yeah, there's a gate and a fence right there right now. So, I was very concerned about that, so there's what the transition will look like from this side. The next page is a look at what the courtyard's gonna look like. Take a little bit and look at that. That's gonna be a beautiful facility.
Are we doing all that landscaping?
Yep. So what we wanted to turn this into was, number one, we talked about lunch, right? Spaces for kids to go out and eat, right? And so this really helps us in that endeavor, but we also wanted to build it into an instructional facility, right? And so if you look at the areas, if you look, you see the main sidewalk coming across and you see the little concrete bench seating area, you can actually sit 40 kids out there on the bench seating.
Will that be turf in there?
The green in the middle is turf.
Awesome. Perfect. We put plastic bushes in?
They're not plastic bushes. They're not plastic bushes, but we have drastically reduced the architectural rendering of what they wanted.
Okay.
Give me a layout here where am I looking here
This
out
would-
to that?
Okay, if you were standing on top of the student center, like the cafeteria,
Okay.
if you were standing on top of the cafeteria, looking out those windows, and you were on, that's what you would be looking at.
So over
This
there,
building here is the existing
That's C
building?
building, that's C building.
Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
This building over here to the right, far right corner, that's the new building, but if you could imagine, that would be F building, right?
Okay.
F building would be outside of that. But you can see, we're gonna have a covered seating area, right? Then we have the other seating area, and then, you can't really see it, but there's to the far left, like coming out of C building, there's seating area there. Coming out of the new, if you were to come straight through the main entrance and come into the courtyard, there's gonna be seating area back there as well.
What are they doing for drainage in here?
It's all underground drains going out.
They're going to have drainage. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, if you remember walking in the courtyard, there were already drains there. You just, sometimes, we had drains that had been washed out. There's a metal grate, but the kids just, because kids never walk through that area. But remember, we talked about how between E building and F building, when it rained, kids were having to walk through water, and all that's been fixed.
so what are they doing in the tan area? Is
The
that
tan-
like a chip, like
So
a rubber
all of
chip?
those are like, okay, so the way they talked to me today, like that area, that's some of it's like crushed granite,
Okay.
some of it's a colored concrete.
Okay, okay.
So we talked about, I want to say, ligustrum trees, holly trees,
All in the red,
pink muley grass, and red yucca, is that what we called it? So very hardy, low maintenance.
What are those on those?
Okay, so if you look, one of the things we ask is if y'all remember in the courtyard area, we had headstones or monument plaques for two students that passed away, I guess, in the 90s, if I remember right. Anyway, we have kept those headstones. And we can either, in that area where we have those stand-up, we can either like place those headstones in that area. But this was an example that we're gonna start like a memorial area. This is an example of what we could do to continue the memorial area. Meaning, we put what we had and here's an example of what you could do for the future.
A headstone or like a plaque?
Granite, one's a granite monument. That's not a headstone, but it's like a granite monument.
Oh, I've never seen it.
There were two of them. I don't know if you remember that. So it was about, I don't know, 2013, 2014. Each of those monuments were planted with a tree. And a neighboring district came over and cut the trees down and really upset some folks in this area. Yeah. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. And if I remember, those kind of like they're granite colored, but those three are gonna be more of a limestone type look there. And so one of the comments that we had made was that the families, is it one of them Duquesne? Yeah, one of them's Duquesne, that we might contact the families and see if they would be willing for us to go ahead and start the plaques and maybe give them a monument or something like that, and see if they're interested in that. If they are, then we could do something like that, go ahead and get that started. And there may be others we want to add, but I was told when I got here that was a student thing, right? To recognize the students that passed while they were in school, and we know a couple others that would need to go up there as well. The next page is if you were in the courtyard looking back towards the Student Center auditorium, that covered area. That's an example of what that looked like. You can see we do have a flagpole in the courtyard, but the flagpole is not for the American flag. The American flag and the Texas flag fly in front of the school, the current front of the school. This is going to be the victory flagpole, so the roughneck victory flag will fly there. The next page is if you were sitting in front of the Student Center auditorium looking out towards the new building, that's kind of an idea. You can see where they put Columbia Missouri High School in the seating. They kind of cast and we told them that we weren't interested in that. The next page again is just a look. And that back corner, if you look all the way across that back corner, that would be that building you're looking at, that's C building. And so you're basically looking at this corner right back here on the inside. What that would look like. Next page again is just another courtyard picture that's looking back, basically toward where the new building is going to connect with the current student center. One of the things you can see they're fixing, we're actually going to have a set of stairs where going up into that little, I don't know what you call it, awning area underneath the auditorium. When you go into the student center, they're going to kind of fix that a little bit for us. Yeah.
So the entry for, originally we said mowing or whatever, and there won't be any mowing.
Yeah.
Is that still going to be there like in that shaded area?
Yeah, there's still a pass-through.
Okay.
Yes, there's still a pass-through. So that pass-through would actually be, if you're looking at that flagpole to the left, that's an open area. That's the actual entrance. You just can't see it from this standpoint. But yeah, there is no mowing in the courtyard.
Yeah, but we just said leave it open.
They need to come and repair, do something.
Yeah, so there is a pathway. There's enough to get big trucks in.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's well hidden.
Yes, it is. Again, this is an example. If you were inside the courtyard looking at this transition right here from the inside, that's what it would look like. The next page is that's that new main entry that'll be in the parking lot coming in. Libraries to the left, two-story instruction wings to the right. If you walk straight through, you go straight into the courtyard. Through the building into the courtyard. You can see we do have a security vestibule.
And all that glass means windstorm?
Yes. There's an example. If you look over there, there's an example on the materials board. There's an example of what that. The library entry, that, again, that's inside that main entrance. Again, you can, of course, to the right, you can see that graphic that we've looked at before, but you can see the first set of stairs is there to your left to go up. Turn the page again, that's another graphic of the library. You've already seen that.
You have to go through both sets of doors to get to the.
That's correct. And if you remember, the library office is to the left, and so we actually have like a little security vestibule area where we actually have an assistant sitting in that to be able to let them in. Next, of course, you got the library. The next one is a kind of a close-up of the library. One of the kind of neat things you see here, we have one of the things that we designed this area too is, you know, we're 100% of our academic dual credit is online. And so one of the things that we do to try to help is, and we added that, was giving those kids a study hall, right? Trying to find a way, we have somebody to supervise them, somebody that checks on them, not doing the work, but just trying to mom and dad them a little bit while they're here, while they're going to do what we can to help. And so, you know, libraries, you can see it's designed to be a workspace. And so you can see we have this big, basically whiteboard area. Teachers can come teach a class there. Kids can get and do group studies and work math problems on the board together. And it's just a work area. So you can see we've identified kind of, if you want to say a wood plank type seating, it's not wood, it's a vinyl wood look, but for that area. So kind of a defining instructional type areas.
So when you come into the student entry, will this one be, they can both, will that be closed? Will they both come in?
Yeah, both of them will be activated where we can open and close them. Electronically. This one will stay open, that one will stay locked. You only get in that one if you're allowed. That's like walking into the main entrance of the high school.
Is this bulletproof type stuff?
I don't know if it's bulletproof, but it's resistant.
We'll have to get film on it.
High impact.
We will be required to put film, whether they do it or whether we do it, that's a requirement now. On all exterior doors and windows adjacent to them.
Okay. The next one is another rendering of the library. If you looked at that, so back around the corner, there's another instructional area that we have. We'll have tables and chairs and seating there. The next one is another graphic of the gym lobby. You've already seen that one before. This is kind of that gym lobby looking if you were coming in from the other side. And of course, across there, you can kind of see the windows that look into the main gym.
So that, is that a ticket area?
That's concessions. Yeah. Again, that's the gym lobby again. That's basically standing, you can see right in front of the windows, you can look in and see the gym area. Next page again is just the gym floor in the gym. You've seen those. The next page, you've seen that already. The next one is a look of kind of what the bistro will look like. One of the things we did like that with those tables and chairs, we can use linens and things like that, because the bistro will also double as an instructional classroom type.
Yeah, and a place to host events.
And a place to host events, and so banquets, Rotary meetings, whatever. And it's going to be right there, and it has its own exterior door where you don't have to go through the school if we were having that. Next page again is just a kind of an example of the bistro. To the far right, you can see that's a serving window. So behind that window is the culinary art kitchen facility. Go back to the bistro, you don't really see it, but there's a setup. There's a restroom back there, restroom facility, hallway to the kitchen, and so forth. The next page, again, that would be, if you were looking out those windows, you'd be looking at this building. Okay. So coming in the main entrance again, We have what we call collaboration spaces, again, looking for places to put kids for study halls, or teachers could actually reserve them, or there could be groups could meet after school. So we do have that's on the first floor, that's a collaboration space, but we'll be putting, again, the flip top tables and some bar high tables and chairs there. A lot of, there's another kind of rendition of that, what it looks like on the first floor. That white you see on the walls are, again, whiteboards. The next one is kind of a look of what a typical classroom looks like. And so, you come in, you can see there's two huge whiteboards in the classroom. One, what we consider the main teacher, has two, what do you call it? Corkboard or whatever those, two on the side of it. The other one, of course, goes along the wall and does not have that. Classrooms are carpeted. As of right now, they drew on the tables. Our faculty has asked for, and it's kind of ingenuous. They make a new setup. It's kind of like when you were probably in elementary school. You had the standalone desk. It had the four things, and it had the you had the either lifted up, or you could put your books in, and then your chair pulled in and out. And then when you left for the day, you put your hair on top so the custodian could clean. Kind of the same concept, but they're more aerodynamic now. It actually has a pretty cool. And so what it is, you have the desk that folds over, you have the chair that slides in and out, or you can put it on top. But now it comes with the racks to be able to hang your backpack.
Oh, nice.
And so that's what we're looking at. So you won't see the roll tables and chairs in there. So it'll have a different type of desk. Next page, again, is just a typical classroom. There is, and it's just like the 6th grade when we built it. There's one wall will have showing uppers and lowers. The next page is existing transition. And so if you were standing in where the new facility enters in to the first floor of C Wing, that you can see right now when we had the flood, when that fire suppression system busted several years ago, and we had to fix that. First floor actually has carpet on it right now, so you can see the tile, and of course those are the what do you call it, fire rated doors. Fire alarm goes off, the magnets release, and those doors close. So that's kind of you seeing moving from one facility to the other, what it would look like. That's that same transition on the second floor. As you can see, things are a little different because on the second floor, we didn't have to change anything, and so all of the laminate stuff, that's still that maroon that was put in 1999, 2000. It's kind of turned a little purplish now, but you can see the floor is still the LVT tile floor. But anyway, that's what that transition would look like as it is designed today. Next page is just a typical corridor. I think it's just showing you tile on the walls and what the door frames look like. The next one is just how when you have a door alcove being painted in the room. The next one is what a typical restroom will look like, as far as having a little colored tile band across around the room, and what the partitions will look like as far as the restroom. So anyway, thought you'd be interested in seeing that. Y'all can take that with y'all. Here's the key, and of course the final version will be coming in about 2 weeks. Also,
question.
Yes.
I didn't see anything, but maybe I missed it, but perimeter fence, is all this in a perimeter fence?
Yeah. All of that was renderings of the inside of the school. Yeah, I just showing them that. So the fencing will have to be addressed, but not until we get to the end of the project, we knock that building down. We're going to have to decide 2 fencing areas. The main entrance, so where the ag shop is right now, what we call the ag entrance, is going to be the new parent entrance. And so we're going to have a new parking, where the ag building is going to be a new parking lot. And that we're going to keep that entrance. And so parents in the morning, It'll be 2 lanes. Somebody coming north can turn right, somebody coming south can turn left, and so it'll be 2 parents that'll be stacking. You'll drop off, and then you'll move into the current traffic lane as you are. You'll go right in front of what the band hall entrance is right now. And so from that corner where that gate is, we're gonna have to basically fence in the welding facility and then come across and put a new gate that leads into what we call the band practice parking lot that's gonna come over and tie in to the student center and to the new facility. And we'll actually have a gate where if we need to get trucks in, do maintenance inside the courtyard, we have an entrance that comes between that. So when kids come out of the new facility going to the student center, there's going to be about a 14 to 16 foot area that's going to be covered with Avideck, and we'll have a new main entrance into the student center, new doors into that glass front area.
How about ADA requirements? There's a lot of second level, I didn't see any like elevators.
The ADA, so we do have an elevator, so based on the flow of the campus, right, because when you're in that 2-story facility, once you get on second, you can go everywhere you need.
Connected.
And so the one elevator here we have serves that. And so, yeah, one of the best things about this is that the high school will be ADA compliant everywhere, of which right now it's a nightmare. So, yeah, that will be very, very, very nice. Then on the back of what's going to be the library, the new parking, we're going to have to tie a fence into Griggsfield facility somewhere so that we meet code requirements to keep basically our buildings within a fenced area. So there's going to be some fencing we have to do, but we can't really do that until, that's going to be probably in August of 25 when we have to do that.
The fencing is mainly just to keep people going back by the softball fields and stuff like that. The design of the school is self-contained where there won't be anybody be able to come into the school except for the 2 entrances are the service entrance, which will be a wrought iron type gate that's going to be permanent, locked on that side of it. Where now we went and put in the wrought iron chain link to protect it at this point in time to try to give us some, 8 or 9 years ago to kind of protect that. So the design will be more containment, like I said, others should keep them from going back on the backside.
Yep. Last thing I have for you, I really want to know how the money goes, so there's this is Virgil, right? I handwrite on Virgil's. I don't want to go in and change the numbers on his, but you've seen this before. You can see the date at the top. You got this on March the 20th. February the 20th. So you can see at the top again, that 100%, the actual construction budget is the $63,591. You see that at the top. Then you come down, again, you see that the A&E, which is the architect and engineering, is that 3.9 number. The next one is the testing number. That's when we pay for testing of the concrete, testing of the HVAC system, startup, and so forth. The next one's for technology. That's for our servers, our phones, so forth. You can see that 3.2 number. And then for FF&E, FF&E is the furniture for the building. So when we talked about the weight room, that's the furniture. When we talked about the classroom desk, that's it. We talked about the seating area for the bistro, that's that number. Hopefully you can see that those numbers are very, very good. And so, again, you can see the total with all of that as we have a package comes out to the 76.7, which shows you we're about, almost 2.3 under. But I want you to know that including in that 63,591 construction number, when we had the 100% budget and we approved that budget, it had $4.9 million in contingencies and allowances. Today, as of today's meeting, that contingency and allowance number is 6.517. So, I'm just saying, I don't want you to be concerned. I mean, we are doing fantastic. And we're making, we're being able to, as we meet, make changes and suggestions to make things better. So we're doing really, really, really well.
So theoretically, from the contingency plus the lower bid, we're about $9 million.
Correct. And then that doesn't even take, what if we don't spend all?
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
We're assuming that that's spent. I mean, we don't know.
So I'm just saying, we're doing really, really well. We've met with teachers, we've asked what we want. We've upgraded cameras, we've upgraded security. So one of the things we told you is that we're gonna have a whole key system, so that key that anybody has from back in the day, they're gonna have to throw it away because it's not gonna work anymore. Right? So we're gonna have a brand new key system. Everything's gonna be keyed new to the new building. So when it comes to our technology systems, our servers, our cameras, our internet, Wi-Fi routers, everything, the old building's gonna be updated to the new. And so, we're making those changes as we do this, and we're doing great shape.
Kudos to you, because I know you put a lot of time and energy into it. And we appreciate you.
Yes. I tell people all the time, I showed up in this district in 2002, and I've been dreaming about this day since that day I showed up.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
And also in that savings, that does include our 6-court tennis courts over here.
Yeah,
That's
thanks
over here,
for
that's
bringing it
over
up.
here.
So this number does include the tennis courts, so the tennis courts will be placed out here. They're gonna start moving dirt on Mondays. 100 yards. So just get ready. The tennis courts are 110 yards long because it's 6 tennis courts side by side by side by side. And so, going to be beautiful. 2 of the courts will be lined as pickleball. As well, we're updating the courts at Barrow as well this summer. So those 2 courts will be updated, lighted, new fencing. We're changing the fencing so the campus will be secure, and they'll be lighted as well. Both be striped as pickleball. So when we start school in August, we'll have. So our tennis team, right, we'll have 6 playable courts here, 4 playable at the junior high, and 2 playable at Barrel that are all competition ready. So our tennis coach will be able to actually host a tournament and play at all the courts in CBISD, which we've never been able to do. If we host a tournament, we have to play half here, half in Sweeney, half in Danbury or in Angleton.
What did we decide on bathrooms over there?
So bathroom-wise, the utilities for water and sewer actually go out to 17th Street. And so Justin has worked to identify an area. And so what we're looking at is a state park type facility. Like if you played Columbia Lakes and used the bathroom back in the day, right? You have maybe lighting on the outside, but there's not interior lighting, right? Because we're only going to use it during the day when the kids are there. At night, it's going to stay locked. We don't have tennis events at night. Right. But it's built in a way big enough where there's no hiding spots. Right. We'll use maybe solar lights on the outside to keep it lit at night. Plus, we're going to have, competition style lights on this tennis court. It's going to be pretty fantastic. But that number's already included in this. Okay. So we're good to go.
Well, at least that's one budget we don't have to worry about. Julie.
Looks like it has the interest.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I haven't even tacked on the interest that this money's earned, that we have, as we're waiting to spend.
$1 million in that one report you said.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. I think we're gonna be when we went into this, we made a list of things that when we get done, what do we address, right? We've talked about the band hall, doing some renovations there. We've talked ag barn possibility. We've talked Griggs Field home switch. And there's going to be money left to address other things when we get done.
One thing when we signed the papers for the Westermans, talking about the bond interest money, is they suggested that I think next year us get a CPA firm that's experienced in the arbitrage thing to look at that, see the calculations, be sure we do what's right so we don't get penalized for earning this interest and not using it the proper way. So it's something we'll be looking at next year to be sure we get that. And I don't know if Kendra Master has the expertise in that, or we have to reach to Houston or something else. The Westburn said they would give us some suggestions or whatever, so I appreciated them bringing that to us.
So just as an example, we've looked at so if you look across, the only group that won't get new furniture would actually be the science department. And so there's gonna be plenty of money to address them. And so as of right now, we've already asked the science teachers what they want. And so right now, we're working on probably trying to get that here in October or November of this year. Go ahead and get it taken care of. And then, you know, so things like that as they come up, we'll
Very
make
good.
it right.
Very nice.
Exciting.
Any other questions or comments on that? So you got on it? We good?
Okay.
Checking your notes, go ahead.
Yeah, just checking my notes from the construction meeting today. I think I talked about it. The main gym, 1,216 seats. Auxiliary gym, 276 seats. Tennis courts start on Monday. The girls' locker room will have 60 single lockers, which are the athletic varsity style lockers we have now. And then it'll have additional lockers that are what we call the two-story, meaning there's a cage locker on the top, cage locker on the bottom. So the girls' athletic facility will be able to house 128 girl athletes. Right now, I think it's 78, something like that, I can't remember. The boys' side, which is basically just handles basketball right now, will have 22 varsity-style lockers, but they'll have the double cages for a total of 62, which means we could dress tennis, soccer, whatever. We'll have room. And then, of course, I think I already told you, dance will have a total of 72. Dance, cheer, twirling will have a total of 72 lockers. And then the ag facility has 40 double lockers on the top, or 20 lockers double for a total of 40. And then in case we have some handicapped students in that are working, we'll have 4 handicap lockers on the bottom floor. Okay, now,
Well thought out. Good. Next is the annual report on training hours for individual board members that we're required to announce at the April meeting. For 23-24 board hours logged, James Broussard, 24 hours. Jonathan Champagne, 22 hours. Matt Dombrowski, 10 hours. Becky Danford, 21 hours. Jackie Gocher, 20 hours. Linda Hebner, 23 hours. And Ray Sisson, 20 hours. And I believe for not a first-year board member, I think it's 8 or 9 hours that included team building that's required by state. And so everybody exceeded the requirements on that. Now we'll go back to the action items. First is to approve the summer school 2024 plan.
so in your folder, you should have a one-page front and back. It should be towards the back, but it's kind of a list of what we're looking at this summer. Sam, you want to go over that?
Sure. So it's, everything is what we typically do for summer school. We're going to do our ESWOP for elementary and for secondary. That's in the school year for our SPED students. We'll have our ESL program for incoming kindergarten and first grade. We will have, we're partnering using our T-Class grant money that we have to use up this year with APC, which is Association for the People and the Community. And they will be providing tutoring for our students that pass their EOC for 8 days during the summer before they have to retest. We also will have credit recovery, and I think that's it. We'll be using West Columbia Elementary and West Brazos Junior High.
Cafeteria feeding.
Yeah, we'll have summer feed program going on at West Columbia Elementary for breakfast in the morning from 7:30 to 8:15, and lunch from 11:30 to 12:30, I do believe is what time she said. Could be 12:15.
There'll be nothing at the high school this summer. So they'll be doing an HVAC turnover, tying it in. So basically getting ready to be able to have AC in the gyms whenever we open those up. So they'll be doing that transition this summer, getting ready. And so there'll be times when C building doesn't, and admin area doesn't have AC. So we'll have no student. We normally house the high school portion of credit recovery.
So breakfast and lunch, is that just for the participants, or is that open to the public?
It's open to the public, any student, any child,
And a family of students too, right?
Any child.
any child.
Any child.
That's what
Okay.
I was told.
Okay.
Okay. And then on the back is what we're estimating the budget to that to be.
And that's already covered, that's already budgeted.
Yes, we already have it.
Questions, comments? I make a motion, we approve the summer school 2024 plan as presented.
I'll second it.
Second by Linda, all's in favor? Any opposed? Carries. Next is to consider approval student catastrophe coverage for 24-25.
Julie?
This is with the same company I think we've used for years, same price that we've had for years, so that we can
So
offer.
parent options.
Yes, parent options.
And this is something they can opt in and they pay for, it's not out of our budget, it's just
No,
something we offer there.
It's about $2,600 for us to offer this.
Right.
And we pay that every month.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed the price.
But if they sign, there's plans they
They
sign
pay
up
for
in,
it.
right? They pay for anything
Yes.
above or whatever that's covered on there. Okay. Any questions or comments on that? I make a motion, we approve the student catastrophe coverage for 24-25.
I'll second.
Second by Becky and Linda. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, that carries. I think that's all the action items. We go down to consent agenda, which is to approve budget amendments and donations, approve agreement between CBISD Sweeney Hospital for 24-25, approve job descriptions, approve interlocal co-op agreement for collection of taxes for Columbia, Missouri Independent School District. Would anybody like any of those pulled? If not, I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Second by James. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Anything else we have for openings? Okay. With that, we're going to adjourn to the closed session pursuant to the Texas Government Code, the Open Meeting Act, Section 551.074, to consider the employment of professional personnel, discuss the resignation, retirement of professional personnel, discuss the performance personnel, and consider teachers, directors, supervisors, and administrative officers. We will reconvene and open, Section 551.072, to discuss real property. We'll reconvene in open meetings to consider action and now discuss in closed session.